Today we're going to be comparing potentially some of Innova's furthest distance drivers for us AM arms. So a disc that I have not yet thrown, but I have the opportunity today, is the Datalist 13.6 -32, and along with the Datalist I brought out the Innova Turn, which is 12.6 -32, and also we have the Hades, also 12.6 -32. I think what will be fun about this video is to see if the 13 speed goes further than the 12 speeds, because other than that, their flight numbers are the same. There's that potential that maybe it goes further because it's a bit faster, or there's also a very good potential that we don't have the arm speed for the 13, so then we're not going to be able to get it to turn and actually fly the furthest. But we're going to find out today. Out of all these discs, I'm definitely most comfortable with the Hades. I'm going to start with the Hades here. Probably rip them on a little bit of hyzer. We do have a tailwind, so I don't know if these will flip up or not, but we'll try. That orange one, I think, is my most stable Hades. I haven't thrown it in a while, but you can kind of see a slight flip up out of it. It just kind of rides dead straight there. That was also my first throw of the day, and that was definitely not full power. I'll try to give this one a little bit more. There we go. Although the white one actually didn't even get all the way to flat. That kind of just rode straight on hyzer. I really think this tailwind's going to kind of screw us for our hyzer flips today. Now moving on to the Halo Turns, probably a bit more premium plastic than the ESP. But also the Datalist is in champion plastic, so that's also a bit more premium. We'll see how these fly. That one got all the way to flat. I felt like that was very similar to that first Hades where it just got to flat and went dead straight. I'm not quite getting them to turn like that -3 would suggest. Oh, that was just terrible. My whole run up on that was bad. And here's kind of the main event. The Datalist, I think you can say it both ways. If I'm pronouncing that wrong, I apologize, but you get the point. Oh my goodness, yeah, it flips. Don't go to the road. That didn't quite get to the road. That car was coming at the same time I threw that. I did not mean to throw that far, but that kind of went far. I'm excited to get those distances. That had a nice flip up. That's kind of how I expected the Hades to fly. Maybe not the Halo Turns, just because that Halo plastic usually stables them up, but that was beautiful, honestly. You know, I think the big thing there though is none of those really felt like a -3 right off the gate. It's like a -2 where it barely turns. Now granted, I was trying to throw them on hyzer, so that's going to take away from that turn a little bit. And we're really going to have to try to get them flat next time in order to see that turn. Or if they do, honestly, they could be too stable. I don't know. But the Datalist, first throw, very nice. We'll see how far they went. So my furthest turn shot was only 323 feet. We can do way better than that. The Hades, truthfully, not really any better, 335. Then the 13 speed Datalist, by far my best one, by far the best flight too, and I'm hitting 382. Pretty impressive, first throw ever with it, and the furthest one of the day. Now we'll try and throw them back, which is going to be a little bit of a headwind. We'll just kind of see the stability of them real quick and see what happens with them. I do want to make it very clear, you're not buying any of these 3 discs to fight headwinds. You're buying these discs for calm days, if not tailwind days where you really just want to go the furthest. So this is mainly for experimental purposes. The wind's a little bit down. We're going to start with our Hades. There you go. Get a little bit of turn out of it that time. They're doing honestly better than I had thought they would. I really thought they would just kind of turn over on me in the wind, but must have thrown them on enough hyzer, and or the wind isn't as bad as I think it is right now. Feels like it's pretty gusty though. Turns next. There's the turn out of the turn. Didn't have any get back to it, but a really good flight in the wind. Of course, if the basket was dead in front of us, it would have kind of sucked as a throw, but since we're in the field, it was good. And lastly, the Datalist. Oh no, that's gone. I'm sure you can't see it because it's blue in the blue sky. That got up to flat, started turning, and it's all the way across the street on the right. So it seems like, even though it's the 13 speed, the Hades and the turn did way better in the wind, actually kind of getting full flights almost, whereas the Datalist had no chance. So maybe it's a little bit more understable than these two. Okay guys, this is a little goofy, and also I want to apologize about it because I didn't realize until I started throwing it, and also the weight is very faded out, but this is actually 160 grams. Super lightweight champion disc I'm working with here, and as I was throwing it, I was like, man, this thing feels really light compared to the Hades and the turns. Well, that's why. It's 160 grams, it's very faded, and I just didn't realize before I started throwing it. So I want to say that's playing into how this thing is flying, and I just didn't know. Oh well. No wonder I threw it the furthest first try out of the other two. That's hilarious. We're back in the tailwind. I'm going to try to put these on a little bit of anhyzer this time, just to see if we can get the Hades and the turn to go a little bit further. Yeah, that's so good, guys. That's probably about as far as the Datalist went the first throw. I'll always have good things to say about Hades though. Now, finding the perfect one is sometimes difficult because sometimes they're way too flippy. I had a perfect domey tan one that I just lost. I had it for like 2 years. Best Hades I've ever had. The ones I'm throwing today are a bit flatter than I'm used to. There you go. You can really see that turn when I throw them a bit flatter also. Now we'll go with the actual turns. Kind of the same shot, flat, if not a little bit of anhyzer. Just a little bit too low with the turn. I kind of made that mistake last time. We'll see if we can fix that. There you go. Get out of it and keep pushing. Yeah, that's pretty nice. We'll see what happens. 160 grams now. Now that we know, we're going to still try to throw it the same. A little bit of ante, if not flat. I will say that thing is so easy to throw though. I backed up a few feet, kind of threw it a little bit softer, and it's just so easy distance. Seems like so far out of the first 3 throws, it doesn't seem like distance is really any different between these. It might be easier to throw the Datalist just because it's lighter. I mean, that last throw I had with it, I really felt like I hardly threw it. It just kind of went. But when it comes to max distance, none of these are outclassing each other. We're gonna go ahead and throw a couple of forehands now, see how those fly, probably put them on some hyzer. And to end the video off, we're actually gonna just go for max distance and see how that goes for us. Really feel like I'm throwing that pretty hard. I mean, it didn't quite go like 360, but for a Hades at -3, you would think that would turn a little bit more for me, or at least flip up a little bit more. That one flipped up. It was just nose up. That was a lot better. But still, look at the fade. I guess that's something I didn't really realize, is that I can forehand turns in Hades. Let's see what this baby can do. Easier flip up, but still, I mean, even though it's lighter, I don't think it's like flying necessarily as understable as maybe you would think it would be. I guess in the grand scheme of things, it's been flying relatively similar, except when we threw it in the headwind. That was the only major difference that I've seen. One more toss here. I guess we'll just call this the distance competition. One toss, see how far we can get them. Yep, that's the one, I think. Probably a little bit shorter than I would like though. Maybe if it gets out. Oh, that's gonna be a contender. I don't think that's gonna do it unless it fades out hard. Dang it. 2 tries, still couldn't do it. This is where the Datalist kind of gets screwed because I only have one of them. Oh, I didn't get it to turn though. Still gonna be far-ish. The Datalist got robbed. That was only a 350-foot shot. My furthest turn coming in right at 360. And my Hades actually went the furthest, which isn't really that big of a surprise to me, but it only went 377. So you can kind of tell my distance is definitely a little inconsistent at times. That being said, in the grand scheme of things, the Datalist, even though it was a bit of a lighter disc, I felt like it flew very similar to the Turn and the Hades. Really, the only big difference I saw was in that Headwind where it just got absolutely destroyed. I definitely think it was the most understable disc that we had today. Now, when it comes to distance from a 13 speed to a 12 speed, as a whole for the day, I think each disc kind of went the same distance. Sure, I would get a hold of one better than the next, but that's just what it is being an amateur player. So if you've thrown the Datalist, let me know down in the comments what you think of it. If you've thrown the Hades or the Turn, let me know what you think of those as well. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure to hit that like and subscribe button, and we will see you in the next one.